All right, here we go. This is the old wrap up of the Savage 110 rebuild. So now it's reassembly time. As I mentioned early on, this is the trigger is being replaced with a Rifle Basix out of the US of A. I don't know exactly where they're from offhand. I did not look. I'm not prepared. I'm sorry. But yeah, impressive trigger. It's, again, I think I said this earlier, but it's advertised as a drop-in. And boy, do I hate that term. It said it just drops in and works, and this turns out it needs fitting and all kinds of fun stuff. But don't advertise it as a drop-in, as if. I just love it. The term itself is so stupid. Just like that, just hold it over the gun and drop it, and it's supposed to install itself and work. Get out of here. Anyway, I'm being silly. So the Rifle Basix, just thought I'd go over this real quick before we throw it back in, before we drop it back in. So this has to be, some parts have to be transferred over. Let's just get the old trigger out. Have a look-see on that. Here's the original Savage trigger. Hideous beast with the, we went over all that stuff, the safeties and all that stuff. And all these funky springs and stuff like that. Chintzy bracket, you gotta physically bend and But this is the replacement. So it does have some springs. It has a spring right here that pushes back on the trigger itself here. It's very light. And then this you have to transfer over from the old trigger body, which they have a clever way of doing. You just use a bent thing and fish it in there and wiggle it around and it goes in. And then there's a spring under here, under the intermediate sear, I can't remember what he called it. But right here. So they give you a couple different springs in the package. You'll see the coil spring there. So the real tight small coil spring and the bigger coil spring. The bigger one is for older Savages with the bushing in the middle. Luckily I didn't have to deal with that. And then this smaller coil spring is the original one that goes under here. Under here, oops, here. So they give you two. One is lighter than the other, and they say to put the one I got in here for lighter pull. I think it goes down to some ridiculous 4 ounces or something like that, so you can breathe on it. That's a little bit too light for our purposes, so we're going to go ahead and increase the pressure a little bit. I don't know what this, we'll get a trigger pull weight gauge on there and check it out, but yeah. So we'll put that back in. These parts, like I said, then there's some set screws in there. A little bit long or shorter. So I'd swap those out for the longer set screws because this has the, I don't know, specific safety, something or other to do with this one, but the longer screws work better for this. And the longer screws were right here. They go right into the trigger there. And they go up here and engage the safety lever so you can adjust your safety engagement, or basically that has to be set so the trigger won't fire on safe. And then the second one here is for over travel. So once the trigger breaks, it prevents it from going, well, from over traveling more than it needs to. Right? So I've had this in and out of the gun several times. It's very easy to replace. So these components here are what's going to be going back in. And then here's the original screws, so the action screws, and then obviously you know what that is. Bolt's been completely reassembled. with the exception of the ejector. Rocky did not want that put back in. So we left it out. We do what the customer wants here, okay? So yeah. Let's see. And then they give you this wrench so you can adjust all those little set screws and over travel, pre-travel, way to pull, and stuff like that. So we're gonna leave that out because there's probably a few adjustments to be done. Here's our barreled action. With the now bedded, permanently bedded to the top of the receiver Picatinny rail and our sweet, sweet logo on there. Love that. So that's laser engraved. And then the old cartridge designation with the twist rate. I did ask Rocky if he wanted something special engraved on here, and he did not. So, okay, that's fine. But yeah, we can engrave special stuff, whatever you want. Fully customizable laser engraving. To recap, we have a 30-inch Brux stainless steel 1 in 10 twist barrel with the fairly modern Savage 110 action. Trued up recoil lug, trued up face of the receiver. Threads have been recut, and the lug abutments in the back all have been single point remachined to the center line of the Bullet Bowl Raceway. On the muzzle, we feature an 11-degree crown with a 60-degree internal crown. If you missed all that, rewind the video and go back and watch it, because it was done for you right there. Everything was done for you before your very eyes. Okay, so first thing we need to do is get this in a vise. The trigger itself has a little lip there, but first we must put the safety back in. There we go. So like that, and then the trigger kind of goes in like this, and then down. Then our sear bracket goes in just like that. Then our little cross pin, we're going to feed that in through this side, capturing everything. Kind of force it, oh, too far, a little too much. Got to back that up a little bit in order to get spring in there. Right there. And then the coil spring, the original coil spring, goes kind of right in there. Again, if you want to see how a Savage trigger goes back together, you're going to have to go search that out. I'm sure there's plenty of wonderful videos on it. And then we just tappy tap that back home. I will be a nice guy and give you a little bit of a close-up. So you saw how quick and easy that was. The spring is right there. One leg here, one leg on the sear bracket. And you just want to make sure it has springiness like that. Okay, we will go ahead and function test this real quick. Safety, does not fire. Off safe, fires. I already test fired this, so I know that all works. So we're good there. So this trigger has 4 adjustments. There's one in the back, one in the back of the trigger, which pushes the set screw forward that increases the tension of that spring inside here between the trigger and the body of the housing. that is what is taking up that pre-travel. So the more tension, the less pre-travel you got. So now I got it feeling real good. And then this is the sear engagement, which I'm gonna have to lock down. And then, like I said, back here, the front, the one sticking out further is your over travel. And then the one in the back simply is just to prevent that trigger from firing when it hits. When the safety is engaged, it just blocks the whole thing with trigger block safety. Right? So we'll stick it back out here so you can see on the screen. But now that I got that pre-travel taken care of, this trigger is really sweet. So I got minimal sear engagement and minimal pre-travel, minimal over-travel. I mean, you touch the thing. I barely started pulling. I have an analog pulley gauge and it barely even starts. So the smallest reading, see if I get anything on this thing. Oh yeah. So it's breaking right about 8 ounces. Just a touch above 8 ounces. You can go lighter, but I want Rocky, my customer, to get used to this first, because the difference from this and the original Savage trigger is, it's not even night and day. It's like Pluto to Earth, you know. That's a good analogy, but it is extremely light. But Rifle Basix for the Savage, the SAV-2, Sierra Alpha Victor 2, is a nice trigger. Very good trigger. Is this thumbs up? I think this is thumbs up. Good trigger. So, that being said, let me just grab a wrench so I can cinch down this jam net to keep the trigger or the sear engagement from changing on us prematurely. Because that is the one thing that will make the trigger fire if you close the bolt without pulling the trigger. Cool. So that's nice and snug. We're good to go for now. Really, all that's left now is to put the stock back on. So, lemon zest stock. Again, I kind of like it. It's definitely grown on me. With those black accents, I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't know. That's what he wanted. And then bedded from a little bit in front of the recoil lug. We had a little bit of a pad. Recoil lug, total encapsulation, 1-to-1 fit. Back here, so this entire section, all this black stuff is bedding. And then right here, where the rear action screw tightens up. And I was able to do the sides here without chipping out too terribly bad. There's a couple chips out of it, but you really can't avoid that in some situations. Plus, we had to relieve some material like right there for the magazine to come back up and actually work. That's where the magazine goes, so that's why there's a little bit of missing bedding kind of in the corners there that had to be removed. And just the ever so slight chipping around the action screw, that's going to happen because we drill these out. But inevitably, the bedding will fill up this screw hole here. And you want to drill that out. You do not want two points of thread, or a double thread, as it were. In there, all you want is the screw to be free floated, so to speak, and only pulling down on the threads of the action itself, or the receiver itself, rather than threading into the bedding and then into the receiver. Going to cause problems, for sure. So, anyway, super happy. The bedding, I mean, it is what it is. There's no reason to go back here because the tang only overhangs maybe 1/8 of an inch on this surface here. So there's no reason to, I mean, it would do nothing and it'd be tricky and it would ruin our beautiful paint job. Our beautiful Cerakote job there. Magazine, so yeah, like I said, that's still, I had to remove a little bit of material in there, but, you know, goes in where it should, stops where it should, and it latches just like it should. So it needs to have a little bit of play in there as well. So that's why some of this stuff was cut out. Has to be done. So yeah, there we go. Let's put this puppy back together. Okay, that sits there. And then we will drop it down into its bedding. Right there. There we go. Can you see that? Yeah. A little easier to do this way. Usually. Okay, there's one. And then the front screw. No cross threading allowed. Okay, I will torque these up in a second. But yeah, there you go. Look at that pretty little thing. Can't wait to see how this shoots. I'm sure Rocky will let me know. But yeah, sweet package there. Sweet package. Just look at that. Look at that. Get the old bolt back in. Great. No malfunctions going on. The trigger is just sweet. Oh yeah. Just love it. Right around 8 ounces we are set at. This MDT chassis, especially made for the Savage. I guess it says MDT ACC there. Must be the specific model. But this being an H series Cerakote, it's very durable. So I haven't managed to scratch it yet. The only thing here, and this is Rocky didn't care, but I'm not a fan of this golden bolt. Clashes hard with that yellow. Man, that clashes really hard. I don't like that, but hey, that's up to him. It's his rifle. Yeah, man, look at that. Logo's there. Everything's good. Stick the old mag back in. Okay, so what are we doing? Wrap up time. Savage 110, newer model. Went through, fully accurized the receiver portion, single point remachined all the surfaces, the face of the receiver, the threads were recut, single point in the lathe, under power. No hand tools, no taps here. Professional, rigid, high quality blueprinting and accurizing jobs. The lug abutments were also single point remachined till clean. The lug contact was checked under the trigger pressure properly, under the new trigger pressure too. We had 100% contact with absolutely no lapping required due to the floating bolt head. So that's all good. We got 100% contact. Everything's nice here, straight. The barrel work was done, premium level service. by aligning the chamber portion of the barrel perfectly straight and true. That allowed us to get the high side. Muzzle is now pointing up, the highest point, throwing our bullet higher, reducing the elevation required on the scope, and all that good stuff. The entire assembly here was precisionally bedded into this MDT chassis. The rail has been bedded, so this ain't coming off or moving ever again. And the entire receiver portion here, nice one-to-one fit inside the chassis now. So that's also not going to move. Shot to shot, increasing consistency, increasing accuracy, more better, really good stuff. So we'll see if Rocky can get us some results. Unfortunately, we are right on the cusp of winter, so I don't know how much shooting he's going to get in. But I will try to sneak that in the video, hopefully, before it gets unleashed. In conclusion, this is Geoff Montgomery with Accurate Rifles and Restorations in Casper, Wyoming. If you liked what you've seen and you feel I've earned it, give me a thumbs up there on the thingy down on the under the video, somewhere maybe here or right there. You'll see this like thumbs up thing. If you could please do me a solid and just click on that. Take your little mouse and go click on that thing, and it'll like change colors or get white or something. That means you're helping stuff. So do that. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much for being a subscriber and hanging out with me on these amazing videos that I make. Just kidding. And if you're not, if you would be so kind, hit that subscribe button and become a subscriber. I do post weekly and try to keep things interesting and fresh and somewhat entertaining. I don't know. Also, you can find all of our contact information down there as well. So you may have to click the More button to unveil that portion, but you will find our website and social media. Contact information. I am for hire, whether it be rebuilding an existing rifle such as this, or going for a fully customized thing with all the different components, and then I will assemble them precisionally and accurately and awesomely, and you will get back an amazing rifle that will shoot great, and you will be supporting the industry and helping me eat another day. I would highly appreciate that, so please consider me. Please give me a chance. Give me a call. All my contact information is in that, so you got to clicky on that thingy, and then it'll take you to my website, and then you can find my personal phone number there. Please do not hesitate to call. I am, like I said, always looking for new customers, and I've got customers all over North America. Very happy, satisfied customers, so I'd love to earn your business. I think that's enough blabbering for now, so we will wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching again. This is Geoff, again, with Accurate Rifles and Restorations in Casper, Wyoming, saying adios. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye. Bye.